Hey guys, I'm gonna make this really quick. I know you guys can access any of my videos on my playlist, and I did a whole review on arrays because 60% of the exam should be on arrays, and I think you guys should review that. I just wanted to bring in some keywords for the second question, which is going to have to do with some sort of method. I just think and I feel that it's going to have something to do with strings. So I just wanted to remind you of some of the methods that the string class has and how to use it or when to use it, okay? So I hope this is going to be a really quick, nice, easy, good review. So I gave you guys this guy called name. He's a type string, and it says computer science. The first thing is we know that everything starts at it starts at 0, and even the space gets counted. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, spaces 8, 9, 10, 11, and so on, okay? Now, I'm assuming in all of these questions I'm asking, not really for a system.out, probably a return because it's going to be inside of a method. So just be careful and see what you are going to be returning, okay? So something that we don't use often is the char at. And the way that you use it, first and foremost, is you want the method to be attached to something so you can figure out what index, what string, and so on. So in this case, everything is going to be with name, and we're going to be using computer science. So char at 3 will return the character. Okay, so that's what it returns. It returns the character at index 3. So in this case, 0, 1, 2, 3. It will return a P. Notice I put a single quote, even though I'm using my Microsoft Word. That's why the quotations look like that. Something else that is commonly used or should probably be used just as equal as the equals is the dot compare to. Now what you do is with dot compare to is you have to put your, object name dot compare to, and then you would have to put something else in here. Okay, so usually one of those guys is from the parameter of the method, and if the equals 0 is commonly used in the if statement. So you'll typically see something like this in an if statement, and it would, if this is true, it would do something. If not, you do something else. But if it equals 0, it just means that the two strings match. If it returns a negative, that means the first guy came before the second guy in the alphabet. So let's say you were trying to do something where you're trying to put a class roster in alphabetical order. So this is where compare to will help. So if you have like an Adam and a Billy, then if you did the first guy dot compare to the second guy, it'll give you a -1 because it's exactly 1 unit away from each other. If it was A, and then let's say it was a Chris, it'll give you a -2, but we don't care about what it gives you. It just gives you the negative, okay? So that's important for strings, and then vice versa. If the second letter is in the alphabet comes first, then you get a positive, okay? So don't be afraid to use compare to. Just know how to use it. And also please remind yourself that it's going to give you an integer. Name dot equals is when we use to compare strings, okay? So that's something very easy. Now index of we saw in the AP 2016 with the keyword log, and you were basically looking for a word. Okay, so let's see what happens here. Index of science, what it does is it goes and looks for the entire word. It makes sure the entire word is there, and then it tells you where the C begins and what index. It begins at index 10, okay? So that's that guy there. It looks for the whole word, and it realized that science is not there, and it returns a -1. And it always returns a -1 when it doesn't find the word. This is actually very important because you're going to want to set things equal to -1. So like if name.index of whatever the parameter is that you put in there equals -1, then do something, okay? Don't forget to use the dot length, okay? Dot length is very important, and remind yourself that there's a lot of problems. So dot length basically just tells you how long the length is of the string, but there's a lot of problems where don't forget to divide it by 2, and it'll give you halfway point, okay? So name.length, and when I say divided by 2, only the length is divided by 2, obviously. So you would just do length colon divided by 2. Now, substrings. 2 to 5 returns the string from index 2 to 4 because it goes one less, okay? Now this is actually really important because this returns a single letter, okay? So I comma I plus 1 returns a single letter. So that's important. And just remember that in most of these cases, you're going to be using a for loop, so you can start I somewhere and keep going through. Just make sure you don't go out of bounds. All right, and then name.substring with a number, 4 in this case, will take you to index 4, not 3, and give you everything onwards. So check out some of the other videos, especially the ones on array. Don't forget about for loops. Don't forget about staying inbound. And use the compare to, use the dot length, use the substring, use the index of. Char at is really not so used, but you could use it if you would like. Just know what you're using it for. Best of luck tomorrow. You guys are going to be fantastic.